From somewhere near a taco shop, welcome to the Dirt Life Show.
Here we go. Welcome to the Dirt Life Show. I am Bella Richard, your host for the evening. We are filming episode 4 of Bella's Corner. So today we're taking a little bit of a different approach. We are interviewing the man, the myth, the legend, George Hammel. Interviews everybody else, so should be exciting. This episode. So if you guys have any questions or comments, just so.
I think it's going to be a pretty... And, well...
Thank you so much for letting us post up and talk about some racing and some good conversations. Yeah, we're really excited to get started.
I feel like it's really cool because they have a nice comfy couch.
Gotta chill somehow.
What's on the roster for today, man?
So
Should I be nervous?
No. We're keeping it chill. But today we're gonna just get a little more intimate. You know, some deep conversations. Kind of not steer away from racing, but get more on a personal level. So I'm pretty excited. But before we dive into that, let's thank some sponsors. We have some pretty similar sponsors, but I'll start with the ones that I got. So thank you Motul for everything, and KMC Wheels and Evolution Power Sports. So
You can use the discount code DIRTLIFE over at shocktherapyusa.com. You can save a whole bunch of money on limit straps, steering racks. They just came out with some new Pro R parts too, so that's pretty sweet. The guys over at JL Audio, they supported us big time at Camp Razor, so it was cool to see those guys. They got a bunch of new products for Can-Am cars. Like you were saying, Evolution Power Sports, Bella, they have all the cool trick stuff, man.
Yeah.
They even have a new turbo kit for the Pro Rs. It's insanely cool. We saw them doing some, I don't know what you want to call it, like sand drag racing.
yeah,
Dude, it was like almost wheeling those cars.
those are fast.
I know, it's pretty badass. There's older racing products, guys. You can use the code TheDirtLife. Tie rods, radius rods, all that stuff. Match up with your shock therapy steering rack and all those other parts, man. I like to thank our sponsors so much because that's the only way that we get to have these cool shows. Like bring Zach down from Washington and all that stuff. It's pretty nice. Did you already tell everybody where they could see the show?
No, I didn't. So Facebook, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify.
And slide into the DMs anytime too.
Yes.
So, and if you guys one of us will check it and we'll send it over to Bella so she can answer your guys' questions too. Some of the people on Instagram might not have seen the intro that you just did. So tell them what we got going today.
Yeah, so today, mental health and we do want to bring up diabetes because it's something we do have in common. But we're taking a different approach today. So I'm really excited to get to learn more about George and a little bit more about me and kind of just Oh.
Check, check, mic check.
Mic
1, 2,
check.
3. 1, 2, 3. I can't hear it on my left ear. Turn it up.
Blue 22 said hike.
Yeah, my mom said no audio on YouTube too. She's watching.
Uh,
I'll just wave to her.
Hi, George's mom.
Okay. All right, Belle. So, how about we do this? Let's give it one more go. Let's start from the top. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to the Dirt Life Show. I'm Bella Burchard, your host. We are filming episode 4 of Bella's Corner today. Behind us, we have Zach, the producer for this episode. So if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below and we will get to them. We are taking a different approach today. We are going to get to know the interviewer, the man, the myth, the legend, George Hammel. So,
Well, thank you. I don't know about the whole legend status, but let's just try to figure it out. See if anybody likes what kind of stuff we talk about today.
yeah. So today we are getting more on a personal level, kind of just getting to know me, getting to know him, and, steering a little bit away from the racing and more of deep conversations and just kind of talking about life in general. So
I love the idea. We just talked about this a little bit before the audio was fixed. I think it's so cool. The reason that we started the Dirt Life show a while back was because, I always went to the races and I'm like, oh, I know Jeremy McGrath. I see him on social media, or I know, I don't know, Bryce Menzies or whoever it was. But, do we really know them?
Yeah.
We know their public persona. We know them on social media. But truthfully, we don't know, what they do, where they go eat, what their favorite foods are. We don't know how they are, if they're loving, they're caring, or if they're mean, or they're great, whatever human beings they are. So when you said dude, I want to get a little bit more in depth, I was that's amazing that you want to do that.
yeah, I definitely want to get to know you guys and have you guys know us. And
Well, I think it's cool too because you're giving yourself an opportunity to really connect with people, and I can only imagine you probably already have other people on your list or in your head that you want to interview too.
Oh yeah, I got a whole list. You guys will just have to stay tuned and wait for that one. But
Ooh, look at you doing the plug so people come back. Yes. And yeah, so we do have Zach behind the scenes. So if you guys want to send in comments or whatever, ask him to Bella. And we also have social media platforms too. So how can they hit us up on social media if they want?
They can hit us up through Facebook and YouTube and Google Play and Spotify. Share with your friends and family and through Dirt Life DMs. So
Yeah, and if you slide into the DMs for the Dirt Life, if you have a question for Bella directly, we need to give you the password for that so you can access it too. But yeah, for now, just send it in. Say you have a question, and we'll forward it over to Bella, and she can talk to you and answer your guys' questions too. It's really cool that she's doing all this stuff, and we're really proud of her.
thank you. Yeah, it's a learning experience.
It really is, though. But you're doing so good. I mean, you're 4 episodes in, and you're already a professional. You're better than all of us.
Well, I do learn from the best. So.
Oh, hey.
Well, before we dive in, we should probably thank some sponsors. And first of all, thank Vision Canopies for letting us use this beautiful spot so that we're comfortable and, able to record and stuff. And first of all, thank Vision Canopies for letting us that's me. use this beautiful spot so that we're comfortable.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, it was really nice of Kyle and everybody over here at Vision Canopies. We got to talk with them a little bit today, too. So now we can see some of the comments that are coming up on Instagram, too. So, all right. So the sponsors that we share are who?
Sponsors that we share are Motul. Thank you guys. You guys have amazing products. Evolution Power Sports, wearing them right now.
That's a sick sweater.
I know, right? I thought it was pretty cool. And then KMC Wheels. You guys are the best out there, so thank you.
Yeah, we actually got the Hoonigans, KMC, and all those guys. We got to go to a Ken Block video premiere yesterday. Obviously, everybody was a little bit sad, going out there, but it was really cool. It was a lot of heart-wrenching times, but it was really cool to just see, everybody had a smile on their face because he brought together so many people. And
yeah.
It's one of those things that, it's exactly what you're doing here. you're communicating with people and you're really touching people and getting intimate with people and sharing stories and stuff like that. And it was cool that he's done that his whole life too, right? So it's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's thank the rest of the sponsors. Thank you guys, thank the guys over at Shock Therapy. You can always go over there and use the code DIRTLIFE to save on any of their products at the website. So please use that code. It'll obviously save you money, so it's really good for you. And it also helps us too, because then they can track it for us. Thanks to the guys over at JL Audio for supporting us at Camp Razor. That was pretty sick. But they have all kinds of new cool stuff for the new Can-Ams, for the Maverick R, for all the vehicles. So just crank it up. Let's see here. Zolander Racing Products. Thanks to all those boys. Use the code TheDirtLife and save on all their hard parts as well.
Thank you, guys. So, where do we start?
I don't know, man. What do you got?
Ooh, I got PowerPoints and questions and just a lot.
Do you want to start with a little intro?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. We'll let you go.
With you?
Yeah.
Intro for you? Well, George Hammel is always the interviewer, but I never really see him get interviewed, so this is a little different.
Yeah, usually it happens like in a non-off-road, context, I guess you could say, because a lot more people are less interested in my off-road racing than they are about my life. Like a lot of people like to hear about that because of so many of the things that we're going to get into tonight.
Right. So you have experienced a lot of accidents, a lot of racing, a lot of life in general. So it'll definitely be fun to unpack everything. And
yeah, it has been wild. It's actually getting my brain going already.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I guess we can start with question number 1. I kind of want this question kind of applies to me too, I guess. But I mean, I guess for any racer out there with pressure and stuff. But I want to bring up feeling the pressure from others in your support system and success. Are you the type of person that works well under pressure?
I would say it's one of the things that drives me. I saw an interview the other day. Well, actually, I saw 2. I saw one with Elon Musk, and I saw one with Dana White from the UFC. And the words that are going to come out of my mouth are going to sound very egotistical and self-centered when I say this, but let me follow it up with what I actually feel, right? So both of them said, do they care what people think about them? And their answer was the same as mine. No, I don't give a fuck. At all. What people think, right? Because my general consensus is that everybody lives their life in a normal state, and I say that in quotes, right? They think certain things are normal, or they think acting a certain way is normal, or they let people judge them and say, oh, you look ugly, or you're big, or you're small, or whatever it is, right? Well, those things don't really matter.
Right.
Those things don't actually pertain to the way that you should feel. They only do because you let them. So if you don't give an F, then it doesn't matter. You can actually make a lot more progress in life. And I was actually having a conversation today that a lot of the things that I've done in my life and a lot of the things that I've overcome or achieved have been because I'm naive. And what that means is I just don't understand, or I don't know what I don't know. So I just go for it, right? And so if somebody tells me I can't, I don't understand when they say that. It doesn't hit me. Because I know, well, that doesn't make sense when you say that. I know I can.
Yeah.
I should be able to do this. Mm-hmm. And you should be able to. You're just limiting yourself. So it's kind of weird when you think about it in an open perspective.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that you have, control over, what you let affect you and what you don't let affect you. Who you listen to, who you take advice from, who you, steer clear from. You have control over all of that. So I definitely agree with you.
And if you live your life like that with an open perspective, I do a little bit of motivational speaking sometimes with kids and with big businesses and stuff like that, right? And I always tell people I live my life by 3 things. And those three things are perspective, choices, and accountability.
Yeah.
If you have an open perspective, you can see things clear. Everything is infinite, right? You can see things clearly, you have no limitations. But if you mess up and your choice was wrong, or your choice was right, as long as you're accountable for that bad choice, you're not going to make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
So you can go around and round and keep making yourself better. So the circle keeps completing itself, and you keep raising yourself up as an individual. because you're not limiting yourself and you're not telling yourself that you did something bad and letting it sink and set in.
Right.
You're just being like, okay, you know what? I messed up. I'm accountable. I'm going forward with it, and my perception is clear that I'm not going to make that same choice and mistake again.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think even like, especially being like open-minded, and you said like just having a big perspective, like especially with racing and like anything in life, if you have an open mind or like, willing to learn more and willing to experience more, you'll grow so much more. And when you just sit there and think like, oh, I'm the best, or oh, this is my limit, this is my peak.
That's too close-minded, huh?
Right.
You know what? That's a funny, like a great thing to bring up, and I think I probably learned a lot of that from racing.
Yeah.
Because racers, like one of the racers, one of the craziest things is they have a very short memory span for good reason, because they don't want to know that they messed up in the last corner. They just move on and don't make that same mistake again.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If you dwell on something, you're never going to be ready for the next thing,
How many times have you been on the track and been like, oh, dude, I totally blew that last corner, and then like all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm not making that mistake again. You just like keep shredding after that.
Exactly. It goes in and out the other. I made a mistake, but I'll recover and
so there you
get
go.
back to it.
That was your perception, choices, and accountability in one single racer sentence.
Yeah. So I guess we are going to tie racing into everything because
that's what we do.
Right. And it teaches us just, I guess we've learned a lot of traits from it, and I don't know.
Is that some of the stuff that you've learned, the same stuff we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think that I wouldn't be the person I am today without all of the racing experiences that I've had.
Do you have like one thing that really like that it changed you?
I would say the California 300 last year.
What was the thing that made it so I don't know, heartfelt or specific for you?
It was a pretty big accident for me. I mean, even getting like physically hurt in general, but more of like I feel like I was pretty close-minded and like thinking, I'm really getting somewhere in racing, which I really was. But after that happened, it kind of like set me back. Like, wow, I do have some learning to grow. I do have, you know what I mean?
And it opens up your perspective.
Right. It really made me change my point of view and like.
It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild to think that, right?
Yeah.
Somebody wants a shout out real quick. Can you see it?
No, I can't read that far.
It says Red Off-Road. Shout out to Red Off-Road, please.
Shout out to Red Off-Road.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Thank you for everybody for watching. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys, so.
Yep, exactly.
All right. I do have some more questions.
Let's
go. Racing is something that has shaped us as humans in many ways, but what's one thing that you will take from racing into the rest of your life? We kind of just talked about this, but
I think one of the main things, honestly, I've taken a lot of little things, but I think one of the main things is, I guess this sounds cliche, but the never give up attitude, right? Mm-hmm. Because no matter what, like your goal in racing, especially in long distance endurance off-road racing, is to never give up. You want to always cross the finish line. They say to finish first you must finish. And I think that's something that everybody should know. Like I said, it kind of sounds cliche, but it's a very, very true statement. And that's the same thing that happens in life. To finish first you must finish, right? Yeah. Like, so if you go out there and you just kill yourself right away, like I thought I could when I was young, you start slowing down very quickly.
Right.
And it starts showing you very, very deep life lessons.
Yeah.
And so racing has taught me to be able to manage things in a different way, so that you can actually reach the finish line. I mean, I've gotten hurt so many times, I've probably shortened my lifespan by 20 years at least.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do every single thing in my power to live the best, longest possible life from here on out.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking about like being in accidents and stuff like that, you got into an accident at UTV World Championships in 2019. And I think I have a question about this actually, but after experiencing something like that, like how did that specific incident change your perspective on life in general? Like not just racing.
So this is a pretty big question, to be honest with you, because it requires a little bit of backstory.
Right.
To be able to lead up to it, right? Like, so I was hurt a million times before this, like, but I decided I wanted to become a professional UTV racer, right? I had gone through professional dirt bike racing. I got paralyzed. I got all of these crazy things. Like I completed an Ironman. I did the X Games. Like um, all of these crazy cool things. I was business partners with Mark and Tom from Blink 182. Like I had all of these different life experiences in between because I was hurt then, and it made me it taught me so many lessons and just made me into a different person. But I still had that racing blood in me, right? And so I wanted to race UTVs, and I decided that okay, well, I'm going to race UTVs at the highest possible level I can.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, like, I'm not able-bodied. I can't move my legs very well. I was walk with a limp, and I was told by the doctors I would never walk again. And all of a sudden, I start racing UTVs, and we have these special hand controls, like these the shifter on the steering wheel and the clutch, or
Right.
excuse me, on the center console and the clutch. So I could use my legs in a limited capacity, but I was still fast. Like I was fast enough to get a factory Yamaha ride. Like it was awesome, right? And uh, I did really well. You know, we were winners. Like Zach has some pictures. Like we were winners on the top of the podium. Like all kinds of crazy cool stuff. Zach can probably show some of the stuff that we've done in the past, like in the racing. But um, it was just cool. Like it was cool because I got the family vibe, the team vibe. Like I learned so much, but I wanted to excel in off-road more and build off-road as a whole. I didn't see very much value in doing all of these different racing series. So I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to create value for my sponsors, I need to do all these special events
Right.
and start getting more notoriety and doing more social media and all of the things that we talk about on the Dirt Life show all the time. And when we started doing that, we decided that we were going to race the UTV World Championship and in 2019, which is what, 4 years now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And I was we had to work on the car. You know how like when you have stuff go wrong and you still have to get it done before you start like take off, like everybody's working on it overnight and all that
Yes.
stuff. So I was really tired at the starting line, like really tired because we had such a long night the night before. But we had the car in a decent spot, but I got a really crappy hole shot. So I ended up having to pass probably 15 people or so. They have at the UTV World Championship, they start you in rows, like it's a staggered start. So you have like, I don't know, 10 people or 20 people in each row and you take off and then they have the next guys go 60 seconds later or whatever it is. And so I took off and I had to pass. And I think by about a quarter of the way through the first lap, I was probably past most of the people. I was thinking maybe in second or third or fourth. And we were coming over this little, it was like a little bump into a berm, right? Like where you kind of like scrub the car and hit the brakes over it, and then you crank into a turn. And when we went in the turn, I was getting ready to come to the inside and like pass this next driver, and they checked up a little bit. So one of my tires barely nicked one of their tires. So it kind of got the car a little bit upset, and I bicycled it. You know what that is when you get up on two wheels. And I bicycled it so lightly that I rode it all the way, and I was about to put it back down on all four wheels, but the berm kind of nudged it just a little
Yeah.
bit. It tipped over enough where I didn't even scratch it, barely even tipped over. And I was like, dang it, man, like that sucks. But I was thinking, like, dude, I might be strong enough to push it back on all four wheels. So I waited till everybody passed by, like everybody, like in the row, passed by. And down the way a little bit, there was a photographer, and he was like letting us know if it was clear or not. And I walked to the side of the track. And when I walked to the side of the track, it was fine. Like I was just going to wait there for a little bit. And I was like, all right, let everybody pass by again for the next row. And then I walked down there to like see if I could push it over. And I was like, crap, man, I can't push it over. Like it's too heavy. So my race is pretty much done right now. Like I got to wait for the safety crew or whatever to get my car out of the way.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, screw it. I'm just going to go wait on the side of the track and pop a squat and just wait for a little while. And all of the stuff that I'm telling you right now is what I learned afterwards because I don't remember any of this in my brain. But I started walking to the side of the track, and I went behind my car. So I don't know if this is going to make a good audio representation on iTunes or whatever, but or in podcast land. But if you want to check it out on YouTube, my car was flipped over on its side, like my cell phone is positioned here, and this is the bottom of the car. And I walked around this way. The berm was here, and I walked around this way, and the side of the track was over here. So I was just going to walk to the side of the track and then just hang out. everybody was coming over this way and going through the turn.
Right.
So all the guys had cleared and they went through, and then I walked. It was clear. No, didn't hear anybody or whatever. I walked through, and I was coming through, and right as I stepped to the side of my car, somebody came over, and they were just like right by me, and they cleared me. But right as they cleared me, somebody rammed into the back of them.
Yeah.
And when they rammed into the back of them, it put that car right into me, in between my car and their car, so I got squished in between. And you know how on a race car where you would put your hand on the window sill of your like passenger car, there's a door bar, right? And it's
Right.
all chromoly or steel, and there's a window net. Well, there was so much of an impact that my body broke through the window net, and the door bar went through my neck brace and up through my helmet and uppercut me to the jaw. And when it uppercut me to the jaw, it shattered my jaw, it shattered the sides of my skull, my eyes fell out of my head, broke all my nasal cavities, and shattered my ears. So it completely like disrupted my whole skull.
Yeah.
And as it smushed me, it broke my collarbone and a couple other bones too. So I talked to the driver, and I laid dead in his lap. And he said he didn't know what to do. So he sat there for a couple seconds, then he finally peeled off, and I just fell on the ground, and he thought I was gone. And he said, okay, well, the only way that anything is going to happen that I can benefit him is if I turn around and I go block people from running him over. So he turned around and went over, but by that time, you know, I don't know how many people, 5, 10, 15 people had already ran me over.
Yeah.
And he was flagging people to not run me over anymore. And at some point, one of those people woke me up when they ran me over. So I don't know if that's like a miracle or whatever it was, but so they woke me up, and I was sitting pretty close to my car. Like I was still pretty close, maybe 5 feet or 10 feet away from the car. And I knew like I was really fucked up, man, like really, really bad. And during dirt bike racing, I had always learned, like, if you break your ankle, you take off your boot right away, because otherwise you're not going to be able to like get your boot off, because it's going to be so much pain, right? So
Right.
you kind of take inventory on the things that are messed up. You like know like, oh my God, something's wrong. What's wrong? And you try to figure it out. Well, for me, I couldn't see. I couldn't hear.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything. I was in like the amount of pain is like undescribable how bad it was, right? And all I did was like, I go, what is all this? Like, is there fuel on me? Like I'm wet. Like you have a fire suit on. And I was like, the fire suit's soaking wet. Like what's wrong?
Right.
And a fire suit's thick, and then I tasted it because I couldn't see and I was like, that's blood.
Yeah.
So I immediately knew the first thing that I had to do was take off my helmet, and I'm so glad I did, because my head would have exploded inside of my helmet
Oh yeah.
because it swelled up so quickly. So I took off my helmet, and then I started feeling around because I couldn't see anything, and I felt the bumper of my car. And I was like, okay, if that's the bumper, that means that I'm racing, like I'm at a race. And I was like, I remember, like I had enough self-awareness to be like, I got to go protect myself. So I just went to the back of the car, like crawled over, like on my knees or whatever. And I just leaned up against the skid plate of my car and just sat there. And then finally, like I don't know how long it was or whatever, but finally, because again, I'm only telling you this because of what people told me happened. Do you know who Brett Carpenter is?
Yes, I do.
So Brett Carpenter was the marketing guy at Rigid Industries, and now I think he's the race director is his title for Polaris.
Yes.
He had never raced a UTV race in his life. Just wanted to go check it out. Mike and Danielle Gardner let him use their car, and he was the only one out of 300, 400 entries that stopped for me.
Wow.
And when he stopped, he had some medical training in the military, and he helped.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so he supported me until the emergency crew could get there.
Yeah.
And once the emergency crew got there, then it was all hands on deck, threw me in the helicopter, and
Right.
they actually took me to Bullhead City, and Bullhead City is not a hospital where you take that bad of a person. So I ended up going to Las Vegas and starting to get, stuff done there. But the crazy part about it is that's barely the surface. Like, this craziest part about my life starts 2 weeks after that, or like a week and a half after that.
What happened?
So going through all this stuff, right? Like in a normal situation, you get to the hospital and they can fix broken bones and they can like get you back to normal.
Right.
Well, in certain situations, you're so messed up that they have to wait for your body to do certain things before they can touch you. And one of the things that I learned was that you have fluid around your spinal cord and around your brain. And that fluid is what protects it. Like it's kind of like a cushion. Well, unfortunately for me, I damaged a lot of that stuff, and all that stuff was leaking out of my face. So it would leak out of my nose, like, so all my nose was broken, and all of these things are like bad inside my head. And they said the only way we can do surgery is wait for that to stop, because otherwise, if we do surgery and it keeps going, we're going to kill them.
Right.
So I think it was roughly about a week, maybe a little bit longer than a week. I had to sit there in the bed with just being broken,
Oh,
like super broken.
yeah.
And it was bad. Like it was really bad. I'm so lucky. This is one of the things that we'll probably talk about tonight, to have a strong support mechanism with family and friends. Like I wouldn't have made it had it not been for them. It was tough. But I feel weird talking about this still. Like I've done so many interviews and I've said the same stuff that I'm going to say right now, but like it feels weird for me to say it because I most of the time feel like people don't believe me when I say it. Like it's getting me teared up just thinking about it. But I was sitting in the hospital bed or laying in the hospital bed one night. And have you ever had like a really bad nurse that you were just like, oh my God, she was such a bee. Like I can't deal with this girl, like, or guy or whoever it is. Well, I had one of those. And I always asked her, I'm like, dude, I'm hurting so bad. Can I please have some pain medicine? She's like, no, you didn't wait your turn. Like you got to wait 4 more hours or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh God, like, and then I would wait 4 hours and I'd ask her again. And she's like, no, you have to wait longer. You have to wait longer. It was horrible. And so I hated her. And I was in so much pain this one night. It was probably 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, like in the middle of the night, right? Shoot, it could have been 8 o'clock for all I know because it was just dark out. But I kept asking her and she said, no, no, no. And then as I'm laying there, all of a sudden, I'm just like, oh my God, she must have gave me pain medicine. So I feel great. This is the best I've felt in years. Like, I've never felt so good. Like, I feel liberated. I feel free. I don't have a headache. My body feels good. Like, all of these things. Like, I feel like I could run a mile right now. And I just look and I'm like, wow, that guy looks so happy.
Yeah.
Like, he looks so peaceful and calm. But it was me.
Yeah.
The guy was looking at me. And I was like, what the heck? Like, wow, I've never felt this good before. And he looks amazing. Like, I'm in the best place I've ever been. Like, this is so awesome. And I still, to this day, can't explain the amount of, I don't want to say pleasure, but the amount of euphoria that I've ever felt. I mean, it's like making me feel goosebumps or whatever. But anyways, so I don't know how long it was, but all of a sudden I hear all these alarms going off and all this stuff. And I hear like this other guy that was like the nurse's assistant going, he's back, he's back, he's back, he's back. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, who's back? Like I was the only one in here.
Yeah.
Like wasn't sharing a room with anybody. Like, and I asked the dude, I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, you're okay. You're okay. And I'm like, what do you mean, dude? Like, of course I'm okay. I'm talking to you. Like, duh.
Yeah.
And then the nurse that sucks, she rolls in and she's like, what's going on? And the guy's like, he was gone, but now he's back. Like, all the machines are back to normal. And she goes, oh, that's cool. And he goes, what do you want me to do? Do I need to, like, call it in or something? And she goes, no, he's fine. And that was it. There was nothing else. Like, it was such a weird situation.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I can tell you about what the question that you asked is like, how did it change my life and what were the things like, I don't know how to explain these words or how to get these points across, but from that experience, I learned that almost nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Except for what you do, because everybody's going to have that same moment.
Yeah.
Every single person on the planet is going to have that same moment. So the only thing that matters is how good of a person you are until you get to that moment. That's it. Nothing else. Your car doesn't matter. How much you bitch because somebody did something, none of that matters.
Yeah.
It matters how much you love people. Matters how much you do to help people. And it matters how much happiness you provide for yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's so simple. All these other little things are, I don't want to say this because, again, this is another cliche statement. They're nominal.
Yeah.
But it's very, very crazy what situations can teach you.
Yeah. Like a literal pause in time. I guess I didn't know the full story or really like, I mean, I knew the story, but not into that depth, I would say. But that's insane. I mean,
there's a lot of little details that go on in between all that stuff.
right.
Very meaningful stuff too, right? Like people coming to visit you,
Right.
conversations that happen, things that impact you. But the story still blows me away all the time. I even told Zach when we were getting ready for the show, because I was thinking about like giving him pictures so that he could show people. And when I gave him some of those pictures of the accident, I go, dude, I can't look through my phone anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this is all you get, dude. Like, I can't
Having
do
to
it.
relive it and, yeah.
But it is what it is, and I'm happy to be here with you today.
Right, me too. But I think definitely, like, I don't know, that I wouldn't say that some people are supposed to go through stuff like that, but I do want to say that because I think, like, at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. And, I mean, yes, sometimes you're dealt cards that, you know, either you didn't deserve or you worked all so hard for something and you didn't get it and you got the complete opposite like you. But I think, yeah, everything does happen for a reason, whether, you know, it taught you to meet new people or, like, to change some of your ways or to, you know. But I definitely would say that.
It puts you on a different life path, that's for sure.
Yeah. Like, I mean, even, like, I guess for me it's a little different because I've never really had, like, an experience like that. But, like, even with getting diagnosed with type 1, like, I would say that was yes, pretty altering, but more of like altering my brain and not necessarily like the way I should be eating or the way, you know, it was more of like, wow, like I have to explain to everybody what just happened, you know, and like.
Well, it changes your life.
Yeah.
Like, it's a life changing thing. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but I learned at a young age that everybody goes through at least one what they call significant emotional events in their life. And for you, that's clearly one, right?
Yeah.
Some people go through multiple, but those things are literally their life-altering situations in their life. And I think anybody, like a broken leg, type 1 diabetes, a heart attack, cancer, like all of these things are, whether they're tests or whether they're detrimental to your life, are very life-changing. Right? Like, the only way that you can get through those things is if you give it your all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the rest of your life, having type 1 is not going to be easy.
No.
But it doesn't mean that you're any different.
Yeah.
You're 100% capable of still living a fantastic life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think I sometimes constantly like have to remind myself of that, but
Somebody that you know that's very close to you just commented in. Jasper Shar just said, something much bigger than us all made their presence known and gave you some peace in that moment of extreme pain. Yeah, absolutely. Incredible story. Thanks. We really appreciate it, Jess. But, like, everybody has these, right? Like,
yeah.
I think they just may not have it the same way. Or I want everybody to make sure that they understand and absorb those emotions and those
Right.
events. If you push it away, that's the worst thing you can do.
Right.
Because if you bottle it up and you push it away, it's never going to help you as a human being.
It's only going to damage you or limit you from learning new things.
Well, just think about it. What if you said, nah, F that, I don't have type 1.
Yeah.
I could eat sugar, I just got to take more insulin.
Yeah.
Well, you'd gain weight, you'd be lazy, you wouldn't have a good mindset, you'd want to be like breaking the rules all the time. That doesn't teach you anything.
Right.
It only teaches you how to do the wrong thing.
Right.
So if you go forward with it like what you're doing, you stick to the rules, you make sure that you're on top of your schedule regimen for your medicine, you eat the right things, it's actually going to benefit you more because now you're into food.
Right.
Now you might be more into fitness than you were before.
Right.
That's life-changing.
Right.
On a good note.
Or even meeting new people. Like, I can't tell you the amount of different people that I've met, including you, who, like, through type 1 diabetes, you know? Like, I wouldn't have built these relationships and known these people if I didn't get diagnosed. And I think that's 100% a blessing in disguise.
Have you ever had anybody reach out to you, or do you have any examples of people that have reached out to you that are like, you're like, wow, that really helped me?
Yeah. So, one person that reached out to me through Instagram DMs, her name is Saviana, but she's type 1 diabetic.
That's a cool name.
I know. But she's type 1 diabetic, and I learned so much from her. I don't think I can necessarily like be the diabetic that I am today without her, for sure. Like, there's just like little tips that she's taught me, but not only that, just to like not let people like get to me. And like sometimes, you know, people make comments that they don't necessarily mean, but it's...
Or maybe they just don't know.
Right. They don't know, or they're just trying to, you know, be a kid and joke about something that's not really like a joke necessarily. So she really taught me how to like handle situations like that, and just, yeah.
Yeah, so even Birdman was saying, like, you have to embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace the situation and just like, what does he say? Power your life positive.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree.
What are some of the things that you had to do? Because, I mean, you had to change a lot.
Yeah, well, obviously the physical side of it, like I had to change the way I ate a little bit, and, well, a lot of it. And, like, you know, having to worry about medicine and if it's cold, or going through airports and, like, just stuff like that.
Is it a pain in the butt to go through an airport now?
Yeah.
Oh, because you wear the monitor, huh?
Yes, I wear
What
the
do they
monitor.
do?
So one monitor monitors my blood sugar.
No, like, what does it, like, the checkpoint do at the airport?
Oh, so if you go through, like, one of the medical, like, not medical, but the scanning device, like metal.
Yeah, the TSA thing?
Yes, yeah. It'll, like, sometimes it could deactivate some of, like, the Dexcoms, or, like, wig out, or...
Like, it kills it?
Yeah, pretty much.
What?
Because it's, like, a whole sensor in you. If it goes through another thing, it, like, messes
So
it
you
up.
have to, like, go around?
Yeah, if you go around, you have to get pat down, like, search through. It's a mess.
Yeah, since I walk all messed up, I get cavity search every time at the airport. It sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes, though, dude.
It is.
That's our new normal.
I know.
Hey, what if we go through it together? We can just hang out.
I know. It becomes second nature once you, like, you know, once you get settled in and start to really, like, live it through. But
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Zach has a question.
So we got a question coming in asking about what race prep looks like when you're a type 1 diabetic versus a normal racer.
I feel like who's that from?
That is from the Realmers, Mrs. Realmers.
That's a great question.
yeah, hi, Mrs. Romers. It is a great question. I feel like we could both very well answer this.
Yeah, why don't you go first?
Okay. So before I got diagnosed, race prep kind of wasn't really a prep. Like, you know, it didn't...
Throw some Uncrustables in there, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. It was Uncrustables. It was Dr. Pepper. It was, you know, no sleep. Like, just full ham. Like, nothing really, like, crossed my mind, I guess. But after being diagnosed, like, constantly having to check my blood sugars, you know, like, making sure that I eat exactly what I'm supposed to at least 2 days in advance before a race, because everything affects it. Like, you could eat something and then it affect you hours later. Like, it's crazy. And, like, even having, like, put sugar in the car and make sure, like, that my co-driver knows, like, the circumstances, that if something were to happen, like, he would know exactly what to do. Like, it does look a lot different, and it's a couple steps that you have to take, but it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah, totally. Well, we actually share the same concepts with all this with Mandy McLaren. She's a type 1 as well. She's from Tennessee, but she also races side-by-sides. But I kind of have a little bit similar answer. I was a little bit further along in my diabetic journey when I started racing side-by-sides. But, like, so my crew chief and my rest of my pit crew, they all knew. And so along with the tools and tires and everything, that they would have Skittles.
Yeah.
And the reason I use Skittles is because it's not chocolate. It doesn't melt.
Yeah.
So it's just sugar, right? And I had figured out how many Skittles it takes to combat my blood sugar and how I felt, right? So usually they would have a whole bag, And if I was nervous or whatever, or I had low blood sugar, I would say, give me 3 Skittles, give me 5 Skittles, whatever it is. And there would be times I'd come off the track and I was a little bit shaky, like, but for the most part, we managed it pretty well. And as the team grew, and I think you're probably a lot like this too. I know that your family pays a lot of attention. Your dad just had a healthy breakfast, like those types of things, right? They start understanding a little bit more of the flow, so to speak, right? And
Right.
they know how to help you by what they see coming from you, right? So they go, Bella, is your blood sugar a little bit low? Oh, thanks, Dad, for noticing. Like,
Yeah.
or thanks, Mom. Like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Like, and then so they'll give you whatever you need to treat or whatever, and then you can kind of get back in the normal flow of being. Because if you're in a situation like a race, it's very hard to think about your own body.
Yes.
So there might be something missing. You might not know your blood sugar is low. So I think that having that good support mechanism around you and also understanding your body are basically the only two things that you can do.
Yeah. You don't realize how much you rely on. I mean, a lot of people do rely on a co-driver, but yeah, especially like big shout out to Dylan Lindbergh because he'll be sitting there and I'll tell him something's funky, something doesn't feel right, and
Yep.
even at Vegas Torino, like we had to get out. I was supposed to switch and co-drive for him racing, but I ended up having to get out of the car fully because I was low and I didn't realize it until I started making small mistakes. And he was like, I should probably check.
Yep.
And he checked and it was like 80 and dropping. And I was like, oh, like, and once you go low, it's so hard to recover so quickly.
Yeah, totally.
So.
And
yeah.
I mean, well, and Rex Road actually said, do you carry anything in your door bags just in case of an emergency?
Yes, I do. I carry glucose tablets, which can be a little disgusting sometimes, but.
Are they those orange ones?
Yes.
Ugh, those suck.
So they're like little like powdered tablets, but like little gel packets.
Yeah, have you ever
too,
ate those like fizz, like
Yes.
that's like those things, but they suck. Like
Yeah.
they're horrible.
You choke on them and they're just
It's
not
like
good.
It's kind of like eating like chalk.
Like like unflavored baby powder in
Oh, so gross.
in a Smarties like form. I don't know. But yeah, yes,
And
I do.
and I always carried Skittles. So
Yeah.
Mandy says she carries gummy bears.
Yeah.
So that'd be a pretty easy one to do too. Don't carry chocolate.
No, it melts. I actually don't do well with gummy bears. They never really work, or like gummy stuff, and I think it's because like the gelatin in it, like
Yeah,
takes
maybe.
forever to
So
go
that's
through.
actually a good point to bring up. So if we're talking about just type 1 stuff, yeah, not everything works for everybody the same way.
Right. There's different diabetics out there, which is crazy because not everyone uses the same thing to raise their blood sugar. Not everyone has the same carb to insulin ratio. Like it's just a
Yep.
lot to learn and a lot to. It's
Like,
like
I have a
schooling all over again.
Dude, totally. And
Yeah.
it's a schooling on like biology in your human
Yes.
body, and you can actually feel these things happening.
Yeah.
Like you're the test patient.
Yes, the guinea pig.
The like things that affect me a lot are bananas, pineapples, like all it. Like, dude, like I'll die if I eat that stuff. It's
Really?
so bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
but some people, no problem.
Right. It's crazy. And learning like talking to different diabetics about it too, like makes like my mind just even expand more, like hearing that, I can eat things that sometimes bug you or you can eat things that sometimes don't work for me.
Dude,
like,
so side note, we got a little secret. I got a message the other day from somebody. I forgot who it was from, but there's sugar-free horchata. I know. I don't know if we should try it or not, but I kind of feel like maybe one of us should.
oh, I think so.
But they
we
said it
should
might taste like
choose
crap.
together.
Yeah,
I-
dude,
I think
let's
it's
do it.
worth it. I think it's worth it.
Even if it sucked, it would still be worth the pain for
Yes.
a little bit. Just hoping in anticipation that it's delicious.
Yeah. Wow. I love horchata.
I heard something beeping. Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
So there you go. Life is taking a turn.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Good.
You feel okay?
Yes.
All right. So we should keep going, or you want a snack?
Oh, we're going. We're going.
Hey, if you need one, I got a piece of Sour Patch right here. Do you want it?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks, though. Yeah, but I do agree with you. I think that like stuff just happens for a reason, and I mean, obviously, we're all on this planet to grow. So
Do you think it's made you grow?
yes, I think there's been times where like it's obviously frustrating.
Dude.
Yeah.
Especially if people are eating cheesecake around you, you just want to punch them.
Oh, cheesecake.
Like,
man.
come on, man. Let me get a piece.
But, yeah.
How supportive is your family and your brother and stuff?
Very supportive.
See?
They're always there for me. They always, either the sugar or the insulin or, even not even just my family, but my close friends too. Like, they always usually know what's going on. They got my Dexcom. They see my numbers.
Has anybody ever tried to eat like the sugar-free stuff like you do and be like, ugh?
Yeah, I think Cruz did it for a little bit while like I was first diagnosed, and he was like, I can't do this, but I'll watch you do it."
Dude, it's so crazy. Like, but it does exactly what we're talking about. It affects other people's lives, but sometimes for a lot better.
Yeah, it is a trip. I think more of what affected me the most was kind of just learning like that some people are gonna say things that they, that just
Like being butt faces about it.
right, that just come off wrong, and they don't mean it. At least I don't think so. But it's just like stuff like that I think I've had to learn to have some patience with.
Is it like, does that open up your brain to be like, well, that person sucks, but like it's 2023, I'm just gonna brush it off?
Right. At first, I used to really take it to heart and really like be super sensitive about it. But like you said at the beginning, like you control what affects you or not. So
Yeah, exactly. Ariana said you're the first person in the family to have type 1 and have taught us how to be more aware of everyone around us. Yeah, see? So, like, you're helping other people.
yeah, thank you, Ari. But yeah, I definitely like with all my family on both sides, but even just my bigger family, not just my immediate. They were very supportive when I was first diagnosed, like my grandma and everything. So it really just depends on like who you let affect you and not,
Well, I think it can affect people in a positive way, though, too, because, like, there's been a million times people are like, dude, you're so skinny. And I'm like, bro, I don't eat sugar.
Yeah.
Like,
like what do you expect?
yeah, like, it's so easy to just, like, and then they ask me, like, how do you, like, do you work out a lot? I'm like, well, no. Like, I mean, I should, but
Well, I have an
no.
autoimmune disease.
Yeah,
so-
like, if you just don't eat sugar, you could help yourself a lot, too.
Right. Yeah.
And it's crazy though too. Like we were just having this conversation. I don't remember who I was with the other day, but every single thing that you do in the world today has sugar in it.
Yeah.
You drink a glass of milk, it's like almost eating like half a Snickers bar.
A coffee, a Dr. Pepper.
It does
literally,
make, dude, massive.
one drink could equal like the amount of sugar you need for the entire day, or like. the
Dude,
entire
even
week.
more than that, right? Like, it's just crazy the amount of sugar that's taken over us. Have you ever heard the? I don't know if I told you, but it's an analogy, and you can test it. You know what a saltine cracker is, right?
Yes.
So if you take a saltine cracker and you put it in your mouth and you just let it sit on your tongue for the amount of time it takes to dissolve, when you swallow, your body takes it in the same way it would a pack of sugar because it takes all of those carbohydrates and converts them into sugars.
Right.
And then when it gets into your body, then it gets dispersed.
Yes.
And there's tricks to this, though. So if you do that just on an empty stomach, goes in pure sugar. You do that after you've eaten 10 pieces of broccoli. The broccoli lines the inside of your tummy and your guts, and the sugar bypasses right past it,
Yeah.
and only a little bit gets absorbed.
Yeah.
So it's stupid because it's true, but like if you eat your vegetables first, your body can process all the food better.
Yeah. It's crazy the amount of stuff that you learn about yourself, like even with just like food like that. But Zach, what do you got for us?
Beach Girl at Heart wanted to kind of explain the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetics and how it affects you guys when you are out there.
Yeah. So, this is a lot. I do get a lot of like this though, like when people say, "What's the difference?" Between 1 and 2, and like.
Well, and there's even different levels of each one, but yeah.
Right. So I guess type 1 diabetics, it's permanent. There's no cure.
Right, and your body requires insulin.
Yes.
Yeah, so
To live.
yeah, your pancreas is what produces insulin,
Yes.
and that is like, so for any normal human being that doesn't have diabetes, your pancreas will go into effect. Like, let's just say you eat a piece of cheesecake, like we were just talking about. Your pancreas goes on like double duty
Yeah.
and starts combating it with the insulin that you produce normally, and it's just a normal human being. Well, somebody with diabetes doesn't really have that opportunity because
Right.
their pancreas either works halfway or doesn't work at all.
Yes.
And then you take some sort of injection or your pump or whatever it is, and you put in what's usually pig insulin.
Mhm.
And that pig insulin is what fights it. But the pig insulin doesn't work as good as human insulin.
Right.
And you have to be very vigilant on the way that you do your calculations to make sure that you're getting the right recipe to combat what you've just
Right.
So it's a freaking science project every day.
Yeah. Literally, it's either a math calculation or a science project.
Yep.
But type 2, it's more of, I don't want to say self like doing, but it's more of like choices that you make for your body. Whereas type 1, it's not something that you choose
Right.
to do to yourself. But yeah, I would say that that's a big deal. Like all of the math that goes into it and everything.
Right. And what also falls into type 2 is people's pancreases that overproduce.
Yeah.
And it makes it so that they have to eat more sugars to be able to
Yes.
combat against it.
Yeah.
So there's different ways of qualifying it.
Yeah.
Dr. Wood AZ wanted to know if drinking or not drinking water while you're eating your meals or in between makes any difference on your body's effects of all of it.
Well, you go first, Bella. Does it help you or do anything for you?
Usually for me, yes. Water is a big deal for me. If I don't drink water, I get pretty messed up, especially my blood sugars. Like it usually always lowers them or levels them out. But yeah, during meals, I try to like make sure that I stay on top of that because that's a big deal too. Like when you're a diabetic, everything's so much more sensitive and so much more like important. Like your body's not as strong as it used to be. So water's very important.
Yeah, and also to go along with that, like water is important to everybody,
Yes,
no matter
to
who
everyone.
it is. But if you're unhealthy and, well, I've been known to do this too, drink too much soda or drink too much caffeine or iced tea or coffee or whatever it is, then your body is not getting the amount of electrolytes or nutrients that it needs from the water.
Yeah.
So it throws everything into a vicious circle, right? And then it doesn't function as good. But there's also other things that you can do, right? Like, how do I say this? Like electrolytes affect it a little bit too,
Mhm.
like the way you sweat and, when you're working out and all of these different things. So it sounds stupid, but you should really, like, if you don't know, then ask your doctor, like the
Yeah.
doctor just said, and have them help you with the way that you feel. But if you do that, make sure you're 100% open and honest with every single thing that you talk to them about,
Yeah.
because you can't diagnose a person unless you know all of the stuff.
Yeah. And if you're completely honest, you're only bettering yourself, so. But.
I just think it's important for people to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But.
What other questions we got?
Whew, we got a lot. That was a lot of unpacking that we just did, though.
We really did.
Well, I did want to talk about. Actually, I had a really good question. About. We always talk about the success that comes out of working hard, but what about the hard times that we have to push through to get to the top? Sometimes we can lose motivation or struggle to get back up after we fail. What do you do to keep on going?
Well, this is actually something that's been really near and dear to my heart lately too.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working my butt off doing all of these different things that I want to do to help progress off-road in general, and it's led to some really cool business stuff that's happening. But the main thing that I can say for that question is, when I was racing, I always wanted to win. That was the goal. Progress is winning, right? Progress is being on the top of the podium. Progress is having your whole team standing with you and proud of you. Progress is getting more sponsors. Progress is building this stuff. So I always thought that winning was the number one thing. Like, you got to do better. You got to win, right? Well, now I notice that wasn't what I was addicted to. I was actually addicted to the progress part of it.
Yeah.
I make myself happy when I'm moving forward. And I think it's a general statement for all of human beings, right? Like, just think about it from, well, your standpoint. You're young, but your next step might be going to college.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to be progress. Your next step might be meeting somebody special and getting married. That's going to be progress. Your next step might be having children. That's going to be progress, right? Your next step might be starting your own podcast. That's progress. Like, all of these different things, right? Like, and sometimes it gets twisted in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you might be just completely addicted, wanting to start a podcast. You just focus on that, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you're making progress, I think it makes you feel better. It makes your heart feel better. It makes your body feel, makes people around you feel better. So for me, with all the things I've learned in my life, gosh darn it, like progress.
Yeah.
Always progress.
Yeah.
I think those are the biggest ones that I can always tell people.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think it's not necessarily that like what you do when you get to the top. It's what you do like on the way there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Rex Road 925 was actually asking what your favorite food is now that you've had diabetes.
Favorite food is probably okay. Sushi has always been my favorite food.
Big
but, like,
sushi girl.
But like even like not being able to, I don't have to take insulin for like all the raw fish and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been like,
Whew, a sigh of relief.
whew. But yeah, that I'd say that. What about you?
People are always just gonna say tacos. I don't really have a
It'll
choice.
always be tacos.
I'm a big salad guy though too.
Really?
Like, yeah, I love salads.
Have you ever had a taco salad?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
El Pollo Loco all day.
Yeah.
They have good taco salads.
BLT.
Oh, there you go. Zach chiming in with the BLT.
Okay. Okay.
So the BLT, you got to add avocados and sprouts.
I agree.
Dump some ranch on there. Perfection.
I like BLTs, but I don't like tomatoes. So I do everything, but not the tomato.
What if you ditch the tomato and you like cucumber?
I do.
Maybe throw a cucumber on
I've
there?
never tried that, but I will.
So it'll be BLCAS. Cucumber,
Oh.
avocado,
I
and
was
sprout.
like, yeah. Yeah.
You can make all kinds of different ones. You know what pisses me off, though, to get on this subject? I went to a restaurant the other day, and they only offered a BLTA with turkey, right? Like, I'm like, oh, I just want a BLT. Like, I don't need the turkey.
Yeah.
I hate when restaurants charge you for the turkey and they don't give it to you.
Wait, what?
Like, why can't you just give me a BLT?
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
That makes no sense.
So pissed.
Ruins the whole experience.
That's why I like Chipotle, because you just pay for what you get.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
much better.
I like Chipotle too. But
What do you get at Chipotle then with type 1?
ooh, well, that I do take a lot of insulin for because Chipotle is worth it. But I usually get the bowl with like all the rice and the beans, the stuff I shouldn't have, but I just go for it. It's
All done.
Chipotle.
Just eat your veggies first.
Yeah, I will.
Give yourself a better chance.
I will. Yeah, but at one point that I did want to like kind of bring up was what about some of the people that don't have as big of a support system in their racing program? Like they're kind of just the manager, the mechanic, the marketer for everything. Talk about the passion that comes from those people because yes, it is amazing to have a big support system, but when you got you and maybe 2 or 3 other people, like that has to be so much more demanding.
My first suggestion to anybody that's in a position like that, and it doesn't matter whether it's a race program or whether it's just life in general,
Yeah.
is my family always taught me to eat the elephant one bite at a time. Do you know what that means? It means an elephant's huge, right?
Yeah.
If you go to try to eat the whole thing, you're never going to succeed at it.
Right.
But if you eat the elephant one bite at a time, you will eventually get to the end.
Right.
So basically what it means is prioritize. Focus your energy on one specific thing. So what I used to do, because we had a small team, and in the beginning, it was just me. My
Yeah.
dad was working. My crew chief wasn't my crew chief at that time. Like, it was small. Like,
Yeah.
there was the amount of effort we put in was the rewards that we got back, right? So I would say, I had to work 8 to 5. So that's a 40-hour week, right? And I owned my own business at the time, so it was more like a 60-hour week. But I would devote as much time as I could to the racing program. So I would be roughly 80 to 100 hours deep on a normal week.
Yeah.
And so that leaves very little time to sleep. But I was willing to sacrifice the sleep to make that progress or goal happen.
Right.
And the only way I could do it was to focus on little chunks. So one week I would focus on race prep. The next week I would focus on, let's just say sponsorships or media. And then the next week I would focus on something else and focus on something else. Eating the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
And it works. It's very difficult, very difficult. But if you want to achieve your goals, you have to put in the effort.
Right. You have to be passionate about it to be able to succeed in it. For sure.
100
You'll find out quickly, like, if something's not for you. When you do want to put everything into something to do it, then you realize, man, I should have more motivation for this. Maybe it's not my thing, or maybe,
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, what do you tell people that are just like fed up with it? Like, dude, this is too much work. You tell them like to stick with it, or do you like try to diagnose it and see if they're actually passionate about it?
pretty much diagnose it. Like, I think if you're genuinely not passionate about something, you find out real quick, like, that you're not going to put the time in. You're not going to, sacrifice things and stuff. So,
What if somebody's like in it and they're just like ready to give up? What do you tell them?
well, if you really love something, you won't give up. So,
Let's see here. Wyatt said, have there been days that you haven't felt so motivated to shoot towards your goals? Yeah, well, it's kind of what we're talking about right now. And how have you gotten past that and keep pushing forward?
think. Do you want to go first on that one?
I'd like you to.
There has been days where I felt like that. I mean, I get in a lot of funks like that, mostly just because I spread myself out pretty thin. So
Well, you're a busy girl.
yeah, pretty busy for a 16-year-old. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. So I really have to balance my time. But I think on the days where I don't feel as motivated to like get up or do something that I actually do care about and need to get done, I really just kind of take the time to focus on like myself. Maybe do something that's more recharging, like go and get a coffee by just me, or like go maybe talk to my mom a little bit, or go to church, or pray about it, because that's really important to me too. But
Yeah, just getting all those recharging your batteries any
Right.
way you can.
it's so important. But
And to answer your question, bud, like almost every single day I wake up, it is very difficult. Very difficult. Like I don't want to wake up.
Yeah.
Like I don't, because I'm so broken, right? So it's very difficult. So for me to get through those times, which happen numerous times a day, I do stretching. And the stretching usually, what it does for me is it makes my body feel better and has allowed more blood flow so that I can actually get like a little bit of more energy. Like even if it's 1%, it still helps. I do breathing exercises so that I can like recharge my body with oxygen, because that helps you feel better. And then I try to do simple things like ride my bicycle.
yeah,
Because when you do that and you get your endorphins going, it gives you a little bit more motivation to do things. But during all that stuff, I still have it in my head. The baseline is progress, progress, progress.
yeah,
So I know that if I feel bad in the morning, if I don't do anything, I will feel even worse at night.
yeah.
And I don't ever want to get worse. I always want to get better.
Move forward.
So that's a lot of the times I drive myself crazy because I'm going back and forth in my head,
Yeah,
but it works for me.
right.
Like that's what helps me and drives me past it. But like you said, you do it a certain way. I feel like Wyatt might do it a little bit different too.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Thank you, Wyatt, for that really good conversation. But
Yeah. And so whatever works for you, dude.
Yeah.
But take some motivation from other people for sure.
right, yeah, I completely agree. But, whew. Well, do we want to end on a good note, or do we want to keep another conversation going?
Well, let's keep it going, man. we got Zach here all the way from Washington.
No.
I think we should put him to work, man.
Yeah, we do need to thank Zach for everything, because he's sitting behind there really
Dude, he's got like 69 screens going, like all kinds
He's
of
like-
different stuff, right?
But yeah,
But he's
props
doing
to him.
he's doing a fantastic job. And I will say this though too, is like along those lines of progress. One of the things that makes me very happy is seeing other people progress, right? So we talked about the racing portion of what we've seen difficult, right? We've had our own struggles.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody has their own struggles. Everybody wants more sponsors. Everybody wants to get to the track. Everybody wants off-road to be bigger. Zach has been a very big help and a driving force that I've started, or we've started, to help showcase off-road more. And it's called Starstream. And so we put like these streaming cameras in people's cars.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of where it's going, because this is the whole progress thing that we were talking about. In 2022, which was a year ago, for the Baja 1000, there was no live in-car cameras. This year, we had roughly 40 or 50 live in-car cameras, and we reached almost 750,000 people.
Progress.
Boom.
Yeah.
But these are all passionate people like you,
Right.
like Zach, like a bunch of other people around us, Brian Moore, but everybody, like all of these people, they care about sharing off-road and building it up. And that's exactly what you want to do by doing these interviews with Dirt Life. And I really like the way that off-road has positioned itself, because it can be such a massive entity and get so many people involved if it's just a right showcase.
It's definitely a community for sure. Like being able to group up with people that like you guys share the same passion and like putting the drive and the work into it. It's definitely worth it. But
Yeah, and like, how many people do you know that are like your best friends for life because of off road?
oh, literally, everyone I know,
Yeah, like literally. huh?
everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree.
Rex wants to know what your guys' favorite part of racing is, besides the going fast part.
I don't know,
Besides
dude.
the horsepower.
Going fast is pretty sweet.
I think so too.
One of the things that I like most is the, I think it goes full circle, but is the teamwork and the amount of payback that your team gets when you win
Mhm.
or when you do well.
Yeah.
Because that's like a victory in itself, right?
Mhm.
When you see smiles on other people's faces,
Yeah.
boom, makes it all worth it, right?
Yep.
But one of the things that actually drives me the most is like, people always used to ask me if I get nervous. I don't have that in me. Like, I don't get nervous. I get excited,
Yeah.
like really excited, like to the point where I forget to breathe excited, like so happy, like
yeah.
like jumping out of my seat happy, right? But I love that feeling
Yeah.
because like, I guess it's the adrenaline. You know how like when you get on a roller coaster and you're just like, oh
Ready.
my God. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's how I get like before a race. I just get so amped. I'm
Yeah.
so pumped up to do it. That's one of the best feelings that a human being can feel, right?
Yeah.
It's like flying.
Yeah. I agree.
So what's your fave though? Is it going faster? Like,
Ooh. I don't know if I could narrow it down to a favorite, but I'd say definitely one of the highlights of racing is I feel like we've got this like progress thing going on, but
Yeah.
like definitely progress. Like being in the middle of a race and like just all the anticipation. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen in this next corner, but like I know I just did the best corner of my life back there. You know what
now
I
I
mean?
got to do it better.
Right. Exactly. Like sitting there in the car, like just like turn after turn, straight after straight, like going through like the actual racing part, the whole race, the start, the beginning, the middle, like.
Yeah.
I love it all. Like it's all just.
I have actually that brings up another like I have another answer to this question. When I raced dirt bikes, one of my favorite moments of all time, I was on 80s, so I was like just a kid at the time, and I remember I fell down in the first corner, and I was like, it was like, did you ever seen that? What's the Will Ferrell movie where he's like, oh, that's a GoPro. What's the Will Ferrell movie where he's having the spelling bee? And they're like, what happened? He's like, I don't know. I just blacked out. And then he nailed the whole thing. He like aced everything and everything was like the most perfect. Like he just nailed it. He was totally in the zone the whole time.
I feel like I've watched this movie, but I can't like.
I
think
forgot
of
what
the
it
name.
was.
Yeah.
But he was competing against like little kids. So it was
Yeah.
like super funny, right?
Yeah.
But I was just like that. I fell down in the first turn and I was like, oh shoot, my race is toast. Like there's no way I'm going to be able to catch up. By the time we crossed the finish line, I was 3 feet from winning the race.
Yeah.
Like I was so in the zone. It was like I think maybe 2 or 3 times I've ever felt that same like level of focus. But that level of focus is what I feel like Michael Jordan, Tiger
Yeah.
Woods, like these guys have a way to just hone that skill set to that level of intensity.
Right.
And I only got that a couple times in my life, but holy cow, I would love to have that. It's like, or the movie where he like swallows the red pill or the blue pill and he's like laser focused.
Yes, I know that movie.
Like that.
Yes, I know
I
what you mean.
wish I could get that.
Yeah. I think kind of like an analogy, but like when you go down like a tunnel and like you know like how sometimes you don't have like peripheral vision or something, like narrowing down to something so specific. Like when you're racing, sometimes like I could be thinking about something else, but there's some races where like literally all I have in my sight or in my head is just how I'm gonna make it to this next corner, how I'm gonna make it to this, like constantly just, you know what I mean? Nothing else is distracting you, nothing else is getting in the way. Like,
Yeah, that's a special power that you have then.
it happens rarely, but like mostly because I just overthink a lot, so I like constantly am thinking about a bunch of different things. But when you're really in the zone and you're really like in it to win it, like
Yeah.
everything just slows into like a tunnel.
Not gonna lie, when I started racing side by sides, I remember being at Wild Horse Pass, going up the first straightaway, thinking about a turkey sandwich. Like it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Sometimes it's like that, and sometimes it's like feel like you're on fire.
Yeah. So and so that's one of the things that I wish I could have gotten more is like that level of focus, like what you have.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you still got opportunities to do that, dude.
we're working on it.
I wonder how people like that are like, let's just say Rob McCackern or like Bryce Menzies, because I feel like they've got just a little bit more of that than all of us.
They're on a whole nother level. But one person that I do want to get on soon is Katie McCackern. But
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So, Caden and Brock Hager are supposed to do a show, I think actually maybe next week. So if you want to do that with us.
Yeah, I would love to.
Talking about Baja.
Yeah.
So, Desert Squadron was saying tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision.
Just like what you were saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I guess that's one word to put it, but that's exactly what I mean. Like really just like
Laser focused.
also being like passionate about something like gives you like the energy to be able to do something like that. Not a lot of people can say, or a lot of people say like, man, I've never really focused that hard on something. But if you really care about something,
Oh, you will.
yeah, you will.
Yeah.
You find superpowers in yourself that you don't realize you have until you really care about something.
That's exactly what I was talking about the normalcy. Like what you think is normal does not have to be normal. You can go way above
Exactly.
that level.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's limits. I don't think there's a limit to anything, but even for everybody just has a different like capacity of something.
Well, how about this? What we should tell people is if you think there's limits on you, you can always slide into the DMs for the Dirt Life or Bella's DMs and ask what she thinks that your limit is. I guarantee she's going to say there isn't.
Yeah, there probably isn't one.
It'd be
Just
cool
so
to
we
hear
can-
other people's stories, though, too.
Yes, I do.
Like
agree.
how they've bypassed things that they thought were limiting them.
Yeah, I feel like these are definitely some questions that we should like move with for the future for like more Bella's Corner episodes.
Like ask Caden McCackern what he
Yes.
thought was a limit.
Because yeah, thinking like this whole like topic that we got going on with like things this more like intimate conversations and stuff like that, I've never really thought about to like ask like other racers these. I wanted to start off with you obviously, but I think it'd be really cool to kind of get to like know like, you know, what is their superpower that they found out.
I think it'd be so fantastic. Like if you ask people like, let's just say Bryce Menzies, he just won the Baja 1000 overall, right? Like
Yes.
you could ask him those same questions and see, like, learn from the best, right?
Right. So you know you have advice and you can take it with you.
Dude, totally.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't wait for some of this stuff, dude.
You
You got plans. Wait, what were they saying? Progress?
Progress. I think that needs to be the new title of this show.
Bella's Corner, a.k.a. Progress.
AKA Progress. Well, is there anything that you want to bring up?
No, I like having these conversations because it makes me feel like, well, I even know you better now, right?
Yeah.
But, like, when you talked about the support mechanism stuff, one thing that I know about you is that you're very open, you're honest, and you are able to take constructive criticism, whether it's, well, even negative criticism. You're able to accept it, right? Like you're open and willing to accept it. Is that easy for you? Because there's a lot of stuff that people could say that could feel totally mean.
Yeah.
But if you have an open perspective like you do, does it make it easier for you to move past certain things or learn from that?
Yes. I think it's definitely like an advantage for me personally because like being able to like take something in and know that like they don't mean it and necessarily to bring me down or degrade me. They mean it like to see me succeed, and it just depends on how you take it. Somebody could say something to two different people and one could be super sensitive about it and the other person could strive with it. It really just depends on how you take something in and how you process it. That's all in your control.
So when you, like, let's just say I told you right now, like, haha, you can't eat a piece of cheesecake. How do you take that? Like, well, give me an example.
I'd probably laugh a little bit. I'd probably...
But to me, like, I would laugh too, and I would just be like, oh, screw that. But it hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I want a piece of cheesecake. Like,
I want a piece of cheesecake, but yeah, I totally get that. I mean, But that's where I'd say like progress. Like before, I used to be like wanting to cry, like that's funny, and then probably go in the corner and tell my mom my feelings were hurt.
Yeah, totally. But then, like, I also think about it too. Like, I have this weird thing, and you're learning it. I feel like you're doing a very good job at it. In my head, where I go, you know what? I do want a piece of cheesecake, but it's better that I don't have it.
Mhm.
Like, I'm actually winning more than them eating the cheesecake.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of funny how it turns back around,
Yeah.
but it might kind of sound like a trick in my head to me, but there is some sort of truth behind it.
It is. It's gonna benefit you in the long run. So
It's weird, right?
yeah, it is weird.
So maybe sometimes the answer is you got to trick yourself.
Yeah, I do agree with that though.
But I think that it's good that the way you're dealing with all that stuff, especially with all the, I don't know what you want to call it. Like Zach and I were actually talking about it the other day. Like, it's difficult for younger people to grow up these days because there's so many things being said. Like there's so much noise
Yeah.
from the outside, like
Yeah.
social media and all this shit that people are saying, like all over the place. Like, it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's really difficult, and you're learning very quickly that some of the noises you could be a sponge and accept it, and it makes you a better person, and the other noise you just throw in the trash.
Right. It's definitely something that you learn as you grow up, especially in the racing industry, like that like to decide, is this worth like taking advice from? Is this source like good for me? Is this good energy? Is this, that's really important, like what you let in your life and what you don't let in your life.
If you're like listening to the show right now, either on iTunes or as a podcast, or if you're watching it, what do you tell people to do, like to decipher whether it's going to be good for them or bad? Or I guess, how do they deal with it?
I would say, I mean, I totally believe in like gut instincts. I think that like what's good for you and what's not good for you. Especially as you get older and you learn from your parents. But I think a lot is with just like experiencing. Like that's the whole point of living. Like that's when you find out, oh, this isn't good for me. This is good for me.
Yeah.
I should hang around these people. I shouldn't be around these people. Like that's just a part of growing up. The older you get, the wiser you are.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It does, like, and I don't know. I feel like you should listen to everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, right?
Yeah.
But take the things that you think are going to make you progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
That's wild, man. Yeah, I don't know whether people can take this and make it better for themselves, but I think you did a really good job.
Yeah. I think some people like that also comes with it, like taking in stuff. Like some people can be, like we said at the beginning, more open-minded to taking in like constructive criticism and like, oh yes, I can grow, I can progress, I can be a better person. Like,
Actually, that's a good question to ask then too. Like, what if you're a stubborn kid, or a stubborn adult for that matter, and you just don't want to listen to people? Do you think it's going to help or hurt you?
no, it's gonna hurt you 100%. I think we're all put here to learn from each other and to grow with each other and build relationships and stuff. So ignoring, constructive criticism will harm you.
Yeah, totally. Desert Squadron just said that, like, take it all in.
Yeah.
It's how you process it and what you do with it that actually determines your outcome and happiness.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
Yeah, it really does. Man, this is a pretty intense episode. I like it.
Yeah, me too. Well, one thing I did want to say was the greatness of positivity and how powerful it can be, especially in racing and just in life in general. But being able to find the good in a difficult situation and turning mistakes into learning experiences. So
100%. I had a very difficult time. I don't know if you want me to expand on that or if you want to end, but I had a very difficult time with finding the good in that last accident that happened to me.
yeah,
It was very difficult
right.
because when I got out of the hospital, I was still blind. I couldn't see. I couldn't hear anything. Like, all those little things that I was telling you about, like, they had to put my eyes back in the sockets. Like, my right eye still doesn't work.
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen me, but I turn my head really far when I look at you. It's because I can't see out of my right eye. They had to cut my ears off. My ears are built out of titanium now because I couldn't hear. They had to drill through my head and open up my ear holes again. Like, when I still hear every day, I can hear, but I can hear about 40% of what you have. It's like I'm in a fishbowl all the time.
Yeah.
So like all of these different things that you're saying, like you have to understand and respect the life that you're given and how much it means, because there's no way that you can make progress unless you realize how good you already have it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I completely agree. Like, you know you have room to grow, but you have to appreciate what you've gone through to be able to grow.
Yeah,
100%. Like,
exactly.
just being thankful that, you know, you've gone through some of this stuff and very life-threatening stuff and still like, oh, I'm still here. You know, there's a reason why I'm here. So,
Exactly. And it's not just me. Like everybody goes through their own stuff.
yeah.
But it always helps to understand what other people go through too.
Yeah. I get it, for sure.
So what's next on your schedule?
Next on my schedule? Well, there's no racing for me till January.
Dude, that's like coming right up.
That's a long time. But next up is probably more Bella's Corner action. I'm really excited for the future for this. I think bringing more people that we know and don't know is really gonna at least try to grow the sport. So
I have a question for Zach then, since you're talking about Bella's Corner. He's going to have to answer it, so he's going to have to press that little red button on the audio thing.
Okay.
So Zach, after being here producing a Bella's Corner episode, what's your constructive criticism for Bella's Corner?
let's hear it.
Other than George needs to get some more computers.
George, you have way too many computers. You got to slim it down a little bit. But the cool thing is that in this type of arena, it succeeds out of passion. And when you are able to have a connection with your audience and those that you're interviewing with a passionate mindset, that's where you succeed. So I think that you're right on track with wanting to pursue that. And you've taken quite the prepared approach to the way you think about your questions and things like that. You're gonna do fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
See, he said it way better than I could have. I just think you're kicking ass, dude.
Well, I appreciate both of them. Yeah, means a lot.
Yeah, but like he said, passion and progress.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the name of the game.
Yeah, I think that's what keeps people going is passion.
Totally. Like your brother is really passionate about doing 12 o'clock wheelies on his Cerrone.
Oh, Cruz is passionate about Fortnite.
Is he probably playing Fortnite right now?
He's probably
I don't need to listen to Bella's dumb podcast. I'm going to play Fortnite.
what goes through his brain.
Really?
Yes. You just quoted it.
I love it. That's so awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Let's thank everybody.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to thank you guys first because you are why we do this. So thank you to everybody that chimed in, with all the comments and stuff like that. Everyone that viewed it, took the time to listen to what we had to say. It means a lot, and we couldn't do it without you. So
Best part about it is, you know what we should do? Let's do this, because I keep forgetting. We have a Maxis hat that is similar to this. You guys can't see it unless you're watching on YouTube or Instagram. But if you are watching on here, let's put it right here.
Oh.
If you are listening on let's see, iTunes or any of the audio platforms, we have a Maxis hat like that, but it's signed by Jeremy McGrath. We should give it away pretty soon.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to do that on Bella's Corner?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. So
Let's do it.
how about this? For everybody that sends in a message to Bella, you're automatically entered to win. And we're going to do a social media promo too. We'll do like a story or something so that we can get a little bit of information to Maxis and to us. But yeah, I think we should start it off like that. And we'll try to get some more people to watch Bella's Corner next time too.
Yeah, we'll make sure you guys stay tuned with stuff like that. We'll post about it and keep you guys updated.
So tune into all the social media networks, Facebook, YouTube, all the iTunes and Google Play and all of the audio platforms. Hit us up at The Dirt Life Show on any of the social channels, especially Instagram, because that's where we answer most of the stuff. And like Bella said at the beginning of the show, please share the show with all your homies.
Yes, all the homies need to know.
Oh, fun fact or stat that I just noticed this week. We're almost to 9,000 people organically.
Really?
Never, ever paid 1 penny.
Woo!
And we got almost 9,000 people on the Dirt Life.
Look at that. You guys are real homies.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're like 10 away or something. But dude, We should, yeah. How about this? Ain't nobody getting this hat until we reach 9,000. So you better hurry up and go be a friend of the Dirt Life Show.
Progress.
Dude! Yes! All right, let's thank the sponsors.
Yeah, so we'd love to thank Motul, KMC Wheels for everything you guys do for us, and Evolution Power Sports, repping them right now. But you guys are the power that we need, so thank you.
Yeah, I love that sweater too. Thanks to the guys over at Maxxis Tires, KMC Wheels, Shock Therapy, JL Audio, and Zoolander Racing Products as well. All right, Bella, sign us out, girl.
Well, this was episode 4 of Bella's Corner. We'll be back for more in January. But thank you to George for sharing a little bit about your life. And, yeah.
Thank you to Zach.
Thank you to Zach, of course, for
And where are we
producing
at?
this episode. We are at Vision Sport Canopies, so thank you so much for letting us rent out this little place for the night.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. So catch us on the next Dirt Life show. Probably going to be a Baja 1000 recap show. We love you guys. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to the Dirt Life Show. See you next week.